Hello and welcome to my channel, the Irish Gypsy Psychic Tarot Reader. That's me, the Irish Gypsy. I'm going to be doing general monthly readings for each of the 12 zodiac signs for the month of November 2015. I will be using the Gilded Tarot deck as I love the vividness of the color and the detail of the imagery in these cards. These are general readings and they may not apply or resonate deeply with everyone who watches them, although I hope that everyone who sees them gains something pertinent and positive and useful for you. If you're interested in something a little deeper than a general reading, something a little more in-depth and personal, I love to do personal one-on-one readings with people. So if that's something you're interested in, you can click on the About button on my channel homepage underneath this video, and it'll give you a little more detail on myself, the services I offer, and my contact information. And for those of you who will be watching and listening and subscribing to my channel, your support and feedback are deeply appreciated and most welcome. So thank you for that. So let's get started. This reading is for Virgo for the month of November 2015. I will be holding up each card as I go through the reading with you, Virgo, hopefully at the right angle, since it's a little like trying to navigate in a mirror. It looks differently from my side than it does from yours. And I apologize ahead of time if there are any long pauses during any of my readings. It just simply means that I'm studying the cards and putting together the feelings and impressions and messages that I get from them. As those of you who read know, sometimes it comes in very quickly and clearly, and sometimes it takes a minute or two to put together the story that is you. I do shuffle my cards thoroughly before each and every reading, but I like to go through a last little bit of a shuffle while I'm actually recording for you. So Virgo, what does the month of November 2015 hold for you? Virgo, the Virgin, the lovely maiden, the sometimes reserved and detail-oriented Virgos. What does the month of November 2015 hold for you? Okay. For the first week of November, we have the Three of Swords, followed by the Ten of Swords. For the second week, we have the Nine of Wands, followed by the Two of Cups. For the third week, we have the Nine of Swords, followed by the Strength card. And for the fourth week, we have the Four of Swords, followed by the Three of Cups. And for the overall theme or general feeling of the month, I pull a card from the bottom of the deck, and you have the Star card, a beautiful card. Now, as you probably know, there's no clearly defined beginning and ending to the timeline of the cards. This reading represents the general feeling or situation you may be feeling during the month of November 2015. But it could also be something that you begin experiencing in the month of October and going into the month of December as well. All right, Virgo, we begin with the Three of Swords, followed by the Ten of Swords. Now, I don't usually like to attach my own personal feelings or judgments to any of the cards. They all have multiple definitions, and there's always a piece of positive advice to them, but I don't like seeing the Three of Swords for you or for anyone. I typically think of this as the heartbreak card when I look at it, because that's pretty much what it depicts. It shows a heart being impaled or completely pierced through by three swords. Swords being the suit that represents thoughts, ideas, ways of thinking, logic, intellect, although this card has a large emotional component to it as well. This card represents heartbreak, heartache. You're coming into the month of November feeling heartbroken by someone or a situation. And it's accompanied by the Ten of Swords. which is another card I don't like to see for you. Um, Although a new day is dawning in the background behind it. It shows a man who's face down in the grass, and above him are 10 swords, all pointing down at him. In other decks, I've seen the swords actually piercing him with a little bit of blood. But basically, this card represents betrayal. You've been betrayed by someone. You've been stabbed in the back by someone, or your feeling is that that's what occurred. Someone has betrayed you. Uh, Someone has betrayed your trust and your love in them. And I'm sorry to see that for you, Virgo. As I look at these cards and study the reading, it gives me kind of a heavy heart to see this for you. I'm sure most, if not all of us, have gone through at least once in our life a time period where our heart's been broken and we feel we've been betrayed by someone, and it's never an easy time. And as we are going into the holidays, and November being a month of Thanksgiving, if you celebrate such things, um, sometimes the holidays can be particularly difficult if you're going through an emotionally painful or trying time, as there's so much focus on love and unity and togetherness that can be at odds when we're going through a painful time. Um, the cautionary piece of advice to these first two cards, Virgo, uh, is that while pain is an understandably selfish or self-oriented process, it can put blinders on us so that we can't really focus on anything other than what we're thinking and what we're feeling and the pain we're going through. But the cautionary piece of advice to the Three of Swords would be to be aware of isolating too much during this time. And that's echoed in also the message of the Ten of Swords. Even though it may seem counterintuitive because there's 10 swords, pointing down at him, there is an underlying background feeling of almost peace to this situation. 10 is also a number that represents the end of a cycle, the ending of something, the culmination of something. Whatever this awful situation is that made you come into the month of November feeling heartbroken and betrayed, it's done. It's not going to happen again. The worst is over, and there's nothing else after 10 except the wheel beginning to turn in your favor on an upswing. If you can see behind the man, a new day is dawning. Whatever battle scene, whatever cataclysmic event has happened here, it's over now. The animals are returning. The sun is coming up again. There is a light shining down from above through the swords and down onto him. This is to say that better days are coming, Virgo. It's been a very tough time, a very painful time, a very heart-wrenching sort of time. But what's left now is the healing time. Now, in the second week of the month, we have the Nine of Wands, followed by the Two of Cups. Now, wands are the suit, the element of which is fire or air, which implies passion, movement, creativity. And this card shows a man, a soldier, who has retreated for the time being. He has hit an obstacle, as evidenced in the thicket of staffs behind him. It's something he wasn't anticipating. He's experienced some kind of defeat that he wasn't expecting. He's taken off guard, and he has turned away and has sunk down into the grass, and he is being held up by sheer will alone, which is symbolized in the staff he's hanging onto. So, Virgo, it seems like this heartbreak, this betrayal that you've been through, this painful situation, was one that has completely taken you off guard. It's something that you weren't expecting, something that you're trying to figure out what happened, what went wrong, why is this happening, I can't believe this, all those things that we go through. And it's accompanied by the Two of Cups, which is often referred to as the soulmate card. It's a card that represents the union of two people on a connection that goes beyond the physical, tangible, sexual union between two people. And goes a little deeper than that into somebody that you have a divine connection with, which is why it's referred to often as the soulmate card. And this signifies to me, Virgo, that the person that you feel has broken your heart and betrayed you or left you with the feeling you've been stabbed in the back has been someone that you thought was a soulmate. This is someone you thought you were going to be with, if not forever, for a long, long time. It's something that's taken you completely off guard. And while the cards don't specifically point to a specific timeline, and this is going to mean different things to different people, this could be something that happens to you as you enter the month of November, within the month of November. Although I feel quite strongly that this is something that's happened in the recent past, and um, something that is still very fresh for you, that you're still dealing with emotionally. Um, So yeah, this is someone that you felt very connected with, a soulmate of some kind, perhaps a girlfriend, boyfriend, someone that you were living with, your husband, your wife. Um, Perhaps because of the sense of betrayal, perhaps there was some infidelity, or perhaps this person just broke up with you out of the blue, and it was just something you didn't see coming, and you've retreated, you're trying to figure it out, and that's kind of where you're at. In the third week of the month, we have the Nine of Swords, followed by the Strength card. And the Nine of Swords is a card of, sleepless nights, basically. It's the sleepless nights card. It shows a woman sitting up in bed. It's late at night. The moon is up, but she's not sleeping. She's staring down. She's lost in thought, swords being the food of thought. There's nine swords kind of pointing this way and that way. And it shows there's also a little owl in the window, just outside her window. Owls representing being kind of a symbol of wisdom, of insight, of clarity, which is right there for her to access, except that she's not seeing it. She's really focused, she's withdrawn, she's in her head. And this tells me, Virgo, that this situation, you're kind of stuck going over and over it in your head, that perhaps it's keeping you up at night, and exhaustion always exacerbates everything else that we're feeling. Maybe you're having a lot of sleepless nights because this thing it's really thrown you for a loop. It's something that's kind of turned your world upside down. And again, I'm sorry to see that for you, Virgo. Um, the piece of advice to this card would be that there is help and insight and wisdom quite close by, perhaps even that sense of the divine connection, which is there for you. Um, the cautionary warning too would be, it seems like you've kind of caught up in the cycle of over focusing on this pain and heartbreak and betrayal, and then it's something you keep going over and over again in your head. Now, this is accompanied by the Strength card, which is a major arcana card. I like to think of the major arcanas as the fingers of the divine, so to speak, usually representing external or outside forces coming in and affecting changes that we're unable or sometimes unwilling to make. Basically, whether they're gifts or something that's seen as negative initially, they're things that we really just decide how we're going to deal with. Um, and this being the Strength card, this card has a variety of meanings, of taming the beast, of catching more flies with honey than with vinegar. But I think in this situation, Virgo, in its place in this reading for you, the message is very simple. It's a message of strength. And it's a message that Spirit is trying to get to you, that um, you have more strength and resilience in this than you think you do. You may be at a place where you're feeling very alone and very isolated and very vulnerable and weak. But the message is that that's just the pain talking, that you have more strength and you have more inner strength to help get you through this than you think you do. And also I'm getting very strongly the message from Spirit to give to you that you're not alone, that they've got your back in this, that they're watching you, they're guarding you, they're loving you, they're cradling you. Um, they want you to know that you are not alone in this, and to beware of isolating too much. There are people around you who love you. There are people around you that you can go to for guidance. And always, always, whatever your connection to the divine is, whether it manifests as God or Spirit or your angels or guides or all of the above, um, don't forget that that's there for you to access to, for you to actually rest in while you go through this healing and recuperation time. The fourth week finds the Four of Swords accompanied by the Three of Cups. And again, this message just echoes the advice of this reading. The Four of Swords shows a man, a soldier, a knight who is resting. This is a card of rest, of, of regrouping, of retreat, of withdrawal temporarily to find rest and healing. He's still girded for battle, or he's just come from a battle. There are three swords pointing down at him, but he's not engaged with them, nor they with him. His own sword is resting close by, but for the time being, he's resting. He needs this. And I think the message of this card is pretty clear, Virgo. You've been through what looks to be a very difficult and very emotionally trying time, a very painful sort of time where you feel betrayed, your heart is broken. And now is the time to rest. It's the time to to go within, to meditate, to connect with the divine, whatever, however that manifests in your life. To reach out to the people around you who love you. Perhaps if you have a counselor, a priest, or a pastor, to utilize those as well. This is a time to go within, to tap on your inner resources, and above all, to reach out. Be aware of isolating too much, of isolating to the point where you're unable to reach out. Virgos, I know that you are people who tend not to wear your heart on your sleeve, and that sometimes it can be a real challenge for you to know how to actually reach out for people. But remember that the people and the good friends around you that know and love you the best uh, will probably understand that sometimes what we need is not even necessarily to rehash what we're going through, but to just enjoy the company and the love and support of the people around us. The Four of Swords is accompanied by the Three of Swords, the Three of Cups, which has that exact same message. The Three of Cups is a celebratory kind of card. I've heard it referred to sometimes as the party card, although um, the deeper meaning of this is really to take pleasure and celebration and enjoyment by being with the people around you that love you, the people who celebrate you as well, the people who know you, who love you, family, friends, maybe spiritual advisors, really good friends. I think the message of this card is to also not to forget about the simple pleasures in life. Sometimes they can be the most healing things for us, Virgo, when we're going through difficult times. But above all, a very strong message is to connect with someone or the people closest to you in your life while you're going through this difficult time, especially during the holiday season. Um, you may not feel like going out and partying, so to speak, or being around a lot of loud, noisy environments, or perhaps that's a good part of your process as well. But the Three of Cups, the message is to not forget that there are still people around you that are willing and able to still celebrate life for you with you. That life is still worth celebrating, even in the midst of this pain and heartbreak you're going through, not to forget what's around you, not to forget the simple pleasures. I think this is where you're going to find a fair amount of healing, Virgo, um, is in the quiet celebration of being with people who love you and appreciate you. Now the card that you got for the overall theme or general feeling of the month is the Star card, which is the perfect card to end this reading with. The Star card is a card that I often see come up in people's readings uh, after they've been through uh, a very painful or even cataclysmic kind of event in their life. It's a card of healing. It's a card of faith, of hope, restoration, of faith, most of all. It's a card that represents the perfect balance and workings of the universe. It shows a woman, a beautiful woman who is unreservedly pouring her resources, her cups out into the water with perfect faith and confidence that they will be replenished because the source from which they come is limitless. It's a card that strongly suggests that you, as part of a helpful healing process, uh, that you connect or reconnect or find um, whatever it is that you get your sense of spirituality from, that connection with the divine, with God, something that's greater than yourself, um, that brings you a sense of deep inner peace and of connectedness. I think this is going to be really an important part of your healing process through this, Virgo. It's a card that speaks first and foremost of faith, that better days are coming, the worst has happened, the sun is rising again. Don't forget that there's people around you who love you, and Spirit very much wants you to have the message that they are there for you. They are holding you through this process, and to not hesitate to reach out and be enveloped by that. So Virgo, I don't want to say what I typically do at the end of a reading, which is I hope you enjoyed this reading. It looks like you've been through a very difficult time, and November is that represents part of the healing process for you. Uh, but don't isolate too much, Virgo. Don't become too withdrawn. Remember that there's people around you who love you. Um, and you may have, because of the holiday season, the opportunity to step outside of your nest and to be with people who will help you celebrate life still being lived, and celebrate just the joy and comfort of having people around you who care about you, even if that's just simply the joy of their companionship. So Leo, or sorry, Virgo, I know that you're going to get through this. I know that you're going to get through this, and you're going to be stronger. Uh, you're going to have a little more wisdom and insight and clarity, I think, at the end of the month as well. Um, I look forward to seeing how the sun continues to brighten and shine in your life, and I have a feeling that the month of December is going to bring some better and brighter times for you. So Virgo, I wish you well. I wish you love. I wish you blessings and a happy life. Bye.